Welcome to the Scale and Exit Show. I am your host, Judge Graham, and today I've got a new friend, Jim Debetta. Did I say that correctly?
That's good, man, with a little emphasis. I like that.
Debetta! Nice. So as you guys know, every week I'm bringing great guests, and today is no different. I'm going to read Jim's background here in a second, but I think you're going to be fascinated. I mean, if you ever had an idea and you're like, how the hell do I execute it? I've got the guest that we're going to talk to. So, Jim, before we get going, let me read this amazing bio real fast here. Jim is a product development and retail commercialization specialist, and he's helped thousands of inventors to get their products into the world's largest retailers, and he has an affiliation with Shark Tank by having worked there as a VP for one of the sharks. Jim is known nationally as a trusted coach, mentor to thousands of inventors and entrepreneurs, right? So everybody listening here that is an inventor and entrepreneur, this is the guy. He knows how to take new ideas from scratch on a napkin to selling the final product to major retailers worldwide. Did I get that good? Is that good?
Yes, Your Honor. And I have to say, look, I listen to your podcasts, and, we see each other online, particularly Facebook, and I'm like, I got to get on this guy's show because you keep it real, and people need to hear that. There's a lot of great inspirational stuff online and quotes.
Yeah.
But look, we all know that at the end of the day, you got to execute on what is being said. But more importantly, you got to get past all that stuff and really understand how to move things along. And so your show is very like I'm from New York. It's very New York, it's very real. It's down to earth. It's like in your face kind of in that way. And I think people need that more than ever today.
Well, yeah, I appreciate that, Jim. And, it's true. I mean, because, and I want to get into this, and I want to talk about the commitment, right? But, I mean, I know from personal experience, my wife has all these great ideas, and she's in bed. She's like, wakes up, she goes, hey, I wonder if this exists. How do we go about doing that? Or how do we execute something like that? So I'm super excited to talk to you today because I personally don't know how to do that. So walk us through from, hey, I've got something on a napkin to making money. Like, what are those? I mean, you don't have to belabor it, but I mean, that's what you do, right? I mean, people pay you. I've got an idea. Whatever an idea is, I'm trying to make up something right now, right? I don't have a good idea, but I would have that idea and I would call you up and you'd say, yeah, that idea sucks or it's great. And here's how we do it, right?
Right. Well, first of all, everyone's an inventor. I mean, kids, old people, young people, man, woman, it doesn't matter where you're from, what you do. It seems like every day when I tell people what I do, they say, I had an idea for something. I mean, that's how every conversation starts. And really, it's really not difficult, Judge. I mean, really what you do is you just have to look at the set of steps that it takes to get a product to market. And yes, I'm not going to go through them all because it would take a while. But in short, I mean, the first thing you have to do is you have to make the decision to act upon the idea, because a lot of people come to me and say, Jim, I see that, you're working with this product or that product. And, I thought of that idea 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20. And I'm like, look, the difference between you and that person who's being successful with it is they took action.
Yeah.
You didn't take it. And today with the internet, with all the information that's available, forget me for a minute, right? I mean, there's like books like Inventing for Dummies. There's 1,000 websites. There's articles. There's experts. There's no excuse for not understanding the basic steps. But the first thing you have to do is you have to do a patent search. The biggest mistake people make is they think they have an idea and they go on like Amazon or Walmart.com, wherever, and they look for the product. And if they don't find it, they're like, oh, look, great. I could make my idea happen. They spend money on prototyping the product, manufacturing the product. They do all these things to find out that, whoops, somebody actually has a patent on it.
Right.
So that's the first thing. You got to make sure that legally it's available. And then after that, it's simple. It's just little things.
So Jim, do you have to have a license, a subscription, or can anybody search a patent? How does that work?
Anybody can search. I mean, obviously, one could argue that if you have a patent attorney, they are better at it. And that's true. But you can go on Google Patents. Right. You can go on LegalZoom. There's, the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office website, uspto.org. Right. And you just type in search terms. And again, it's always best to have someone that knows what they're doing to really double check. But if you find 20 things popping up that's like what you're looking for, that's a little kind of red flag that you need to check into it further. If nothing comes up, you might be okay. But it's not hard to do. It takes a couple of minutes, really.
So step one is the patent. What's step two?
Well, let's assume you're free and clear. Okay, great.
Right.
You've checked or you checked with an attorney, you're good to go. The next thing you have to do is find out how much it's going to cost to make the product. And that means just getting quotes from a product designer, right? You have this idea, you've sketched it on a napkin or a sheet of paper, or maybe you went to like Home Depot or Lowe's and like got some glue and duct tape and made a prototype. People do that all the time.
Yeah.
But in order for a factory to make it, you got to have blueprints. Like a builder for a house has blueprints, right? They don't just build houses, they have plans.
Right.
You need a plan, and that's done through software called CAD. And the CAD will allow a factory to look at that blueprint and say, okay, it's going to cost $2 per piece or $5 per piece. But even before that, Judge, the bigger thing is you have to decide, and this is probably a whole nother show, right, is whether you want to license that idea that you have to another company to do all that, or if you want to go ahead and develop and sell that product yourself. So once you make that decision, obviously in this case, that you're going to do it yourself, you've got to get that blueprint made.
So let's just talk, because one thing you said that I love, and it's the step in between searching, it's the step in between idea, searching the patent, and then actually getting the blueprint. And that's freaking commitment, man. And that's action, right? So many people go, and they're done at that point, right? They don't invest in what that is. How much does it even cost to go get a blueprint or a CAD? Just so people have a perspective.
Right. I mean, obviously it depends on the complexity of it. If it's a coffee mug, it's cheaper than if you're making a medical device, right? Because it's just obvious. But I mean, people get CAD done. I don't know how great it will be. Anywhere from a few $100s on up. I mean, typically, it could be $1,000, $2,000. It could be more depending on the complexity. But you talked about taking action. I think once people decide to say, hey, I'm going to actually do something about my idea, and they do that patent search, believe me, all of a sudden it starts to snowball. Then they get into it. But most people don't even get to that point because they don't think that they know what to do, yet it's easy to understand what to do.
Yeah, I bet 99% of people, and I talk a lot, and I wrote this book, Scale with Speed, right? Yep. So I bet 99% of people don't take that even patent search or get excited. And then from that, no one's moving fast, because then at that point it's a race, right? I mean, you got to get your marketing, you've got to get it approved, you got to get in the stores, you've got to, beat somebody else. I mean, I guess if you have the patent, you don't have to worry about it. But, there's a whole momentum play there that people probably don't take serious.
Hold your book up again. Scale with Speed. I mean, it really does. It speaks to the whole situation here. Once you make that decision, and that's a mindset thing, thinking that you don't or can't get the information you need to understand the steps, which is like the easiest thing to find on the internet.
I bet this would be relevant. So SPEED is an acronym, right? So it's start with your end game, pick your niche, execute with speed, energize your culture, dominate your top priorities. I mean, you could apply this same acronym to what you do.
Well, of course you can. And it really is true. I think people should read that for that alone. I mean, it is. A lot of this business is mindset. It's the technical stuff. I can help them. There's 1,000 people that can help them with the technical stuff. Okay? But it's getting your mind into that thought that I got to execute. I got to move. I got to be nimble. I got to act. And I can't be afraid of everything. I have to leap in, educate yourself, learn what it is that it's going to take, and then just do it. I'm telling you, more people's ideas die on the vine because they just don't move.
Jim, so I have great, easy, simple frameworks, but the value I bring, and it sounds similar to you, is I change behaviors and mindsets, right? That's 99% of the game, right? If you can get the right mindset, do the right habits with the right behaviors, your probability of winning becomes astronomical, right? I mean, those are things that are key.
Risk and reward to me is a big thing. Real quick, here's how I explain that to people. People come to me and say, Jim, I have an idea. I don't know what to do next. Okay, click on my website. There's a 12 to take those steps then all they have to do is understand that now they have confidence to know what those steps are, and they can advance the big people are they're there. But once they know that, and then it's, well, will the product be successful in the marketplace versus, but it will get it done. It can be done. It's not rocket science, really.
Right. Yeah. So talk about what your, is there a favorite product that you've invented or a story, relative to Shark Tank or something you could share with the audience? Because, I want them to reach out to you with their ideas and hire you as a mentor or a coach to help them go through that. But, it would be great to hear, what's something you're super proud of or that you guys took to market so they can get some context of your experience.
Here's a great example. And yes, thank you. I worked with Kevin Harrington as his VP when he was on Shark Tank the first few seasons. And that really gave me an inside viewpoint of even deeper of how product development and commercialization is. But there's a product out there called Floateez, Floateez. And basically, you know what a pool noodle is, right? So everyone knows what those things are. Right. You get them everywhere. People go, kids beat each other with them. You sit on them, you blow water, whatever.
Yeah.
This guy, Tommy Greenan, created pool noodles with notches. So you could basically build things and connect them like building blocks, right?
Yeah,
so you can make ramps. Basically, just like Lincoln Logs. So he took an age-old thing, put a different spin on it. He came to me, same thing. I don't know what to do. I'm afraid. I'm not, whatever. He didn't know how to proceed. He did a 1-hour consult with me. He then went away. He's like, Jim, this is awesome. I learned what I got to do. He disappeared. 6 months later, he comes back. He goes, I'm ready now. I'm ready to go. I made up my mind. I can do this. We are getting into every retailer under the sun. We're having a banner year with this product this year. It's just one example of many. A lot of that was the mindset. He got some knowledge. I walked him through everything he needed to do. I've been there for him the whole way. Now his products is going into a bunch of major retailers. We just signed some big retail deals for 2019 and 2020, believe it or not.
Wow.
And this guy's ecstatic. And it's all because he decided to say, hey, I got a great idea and I'm going to go for it. And he did. And now it's paying off.
Man, what a great story. And, more than likely it sounds like, and I don't know his past, but this is life-changing probably for him financially, I would assume. Right?
Yeah, he's forever grateful. But, he works hard. It's not like I'm doing all the work. It's a partnership. Right. I could dispense all the advice and offer all the assistance I can, but if you don't have that other person digging in, doing the work too, it doesn't work. Right? It's not my company. It's his company. So I can advise him as to what he needs to do. But he gets up every day. He's motivated. He knows that it's about speed to market, getting your product out there, before somebody else does. And he works at it every single day. And because of that, in great part because of that, he's becoming very successful and he's going to continue to be successful. And he can also do other products now because he knows the process. So that's an added benefit to doing it once the first time.
So talk to us about the different, and I love it, right? It's, and that's not a difficult concept, right? I can't imagine that that's difficult to manufacture or make, but it's compelling and now he's doing it, right? So, it's the little ideas you come up with. You're swimming around the pool, you see your kids playing, you're like, ding, 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 idea, right? And that's how probably it happened.
That's it.
So what's the difference?
All the time.
What's the difference, Jim, between doing that and versus licensing?
Okay, well, in short, if you do what Tommy did with Floateez, he's taking all the financial risk, right? He's paying for those blueprints, the CAD files, getting prototypes, actually manufacturing and having inventory. He's doing the marketing. He's paying me for the sales and all that. But the reward side of that is that he stands to make a lot of money, right? If this does well on the profit margin side, right? So you make something for X dollars, you sell it for Y, and that the difference is what you put in your pocket. If you license, right? If you license a product, you're basically having another company do all that work. So you, assuming you have a patent or patent pending, you now lease or rent your intellectual property to a corporation, right? And so they are paying for the prototyping, the design, the selling, the marketing, everything else. But in exchange, you get a royalty. And that royalty is usually 3 to 5%, could be more or less. You could still make a lot of money that way, but
sure,
you generally make less than if you go it on your own. But there's a lot lower financial risk when you start because you're not really spending anything. So, but everyone has a different situation, and people come to me and say, "What should I do?" Depends on where you are in your life. Do you want to run a business? Are you retired? You don't feel like doing it? Do you not have the money to run your own product business? I mean, who knows? People have their own reasons, and I just try to show them the two paths.
So, Jim, can you help somebody go down that path? Like, hey, I can help you get it licensed. Do you know companies, people that would back things like that?
Well, of course. And I've done licensing deals in my own company that I ran years ago in the sport optics business. I used to make and sell binoculars, telescopes, night vision to every retailer under the sun. Awesome. And so I did licensing deals while running my own business with other companies. So and I show people how to negotiate those deals and how to get more out of the deal than the company gets out of the deal, right? Everyone needs to win, but you don't want to be taken advantage of. And big companies can do that to the little guy.
Yeah. So I see a lot of the experience, which makes total sense, is getting the product, get it into retailers, right? But now we have this, what I call new solopreneur, ClickFunnels, Shopify new world, where you've got, all these guys that are and gals that are 21 years old and, they're sourcing a product and they build a ClickFunnel and they're, selling it. This would apply too, right? I mean, you could still make the product, and can you do both channels in this scenario where you're selling it direct or not?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, technology is a game changer in this business. When I was running my company, I mean, the internet really didn't exist yet, right? I mean, it was AOL, dial-up, all that stuff. When we wanted to sell a product, there was only one way. You go to the retailer, you meet in their offices, and you sell it to them, right?
Right.
Or a trade show or something. Today, right, websites like Shopify, you can make your own website. You could run Facebook ads and promote your product. You can go to retailers. Comparatively, today, it's like a million times easier to get into this business than it was. Whereas in some businesses, it can be more difficult or more competitive. No way. Today, there are so many tools at your disposal to succeed that there's really almost no excuse to not have the opportunity to expose your brand and your product out there in the world.
Yeah, but I think that knowledge base that you have, a lot of these people that understand the tech side, they don't understand the patent side. They don't understand the licensing side. They probably don't understand that there is an opportunity at retail as long as you're not cannibalizing your retail versus your online. There's an Amazon strategy. There's all these things. So I would just see a guy like your business now is almost like an octopus, right? I mean, you have all these different areas now versus where it was retail. Now it's retail, it's direct, it's ClickFunnels, it's Shopify, it's Amazon, it's affiliate, it's all those things, which are all lucrative and can make a lot of money.
Yeah, make no mistake about it. I mean, I'm simplifying the process and for our discussion, but it's not easy. I mean, look, no business.
Sure. Nothing is.
Look, I've been doing this for 25 years or whatever.
Right.
And, people get a lot of value of having me explain to them and hold their hand and walk them through the process. At the very least, it saves them from huge financial mistakes, which is right. That alone is enough of a reason to talk to somebody that knows what they're doing. But more importantly, I have all the connections. I know all the right trustworthy service providers, and I know all the retail buyers. I mean, look, you can have a product, but if you can't get in front of the retail buyer, what good is it, right? You got to sell it. I make those connections. I know all the buyers. So I go, hey, Judge, look, I got this great product, and where doesn't have that. And they don't know what to say to the buyer when they get them, when they engage them. And I know all the words, the lingo. Yeah, I mean, like anything that you work so long at, there's an advantage to people coming to me to get the proper guidance they need to do it right.
No, it's huge. I tell people all the time, seek out counsel, not advice. Advice anybody can give you, right? Counsel is seeking someone who's been where you want to be or exceeded it and has the relationships and the connections to take you where you need to go. And when it comes to inventing and going to market, that's you.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that. I believe that, I am one of those people, one of the top people in the business. I'm relevant. I keep myself updated on every little thing that's going on. My contacts are current. and just by knowing people like you, Judge, I mean, people that are influential, that, that also engage people to have them understand that this is not just a technical business. It's an emotional business. It's a business of passion and desire to succeed. And, people get caught up in that sometimes, and you have to temper their emotions and ground them and say, it takes time. There's going to be bumps in the road, but you got to just keep rolling along. You got to keep moving. And if you do, those people that stick with it are the ones that succeed. I see too many inventors give up too early because they get frustrated. Look, I run a business. You run a business. It's not always, easy.
No.
And we have to adapt and change and, to conditions as they are. We keep going, right? We get up every day and we keep moving and working, and that's how we succeed or continue to look to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing there's no overnight success, right? So, I hate when somebody says, oh man, you got lucky with that product, right? So if your buddy Tommy becomes a gazillionaire and, there's going to be haters everywhere going, this guy freaking, invented floaties, right? Look how lucky he was. Look how easy. Nobody knows that backstory of fighting for the patent, working with you, getting the retail meetings, putting the sweat and the equity in, the investment, finding the connections, building the CAD, all of that, right, to get to that moment, right? That's what nobody talks about.
People have no idea how much work behind the scenes goes on to getting a product on the shelves of a store. Only the people that have gone through it will tell you. And I'll tell you right now, if people like Tommy from Floaties get lucky, it's because they've worked hard.
Yeah, harder you work, the luckier you become.
You put yourself in positions to succeed. I mean, some people say it's never luck, and maybe that's true. Maybe it's just that you're at it every day, and opportunities come your way because you're there, you're relevant, you're current, you push, and right. When you play lotto that's luck, right? You just pick random numbers. That's luck. There's no work involved in that.
Right.
When you run a business, you're not lucky. You're working at it. Your success comes because of the efforts you put forth.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, success is done through work, timing, and circumstance, right? And so if those align correctly, you usually do really well. So Jim, as we get
right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that's all true.
Yeah.
All true.
So as we kind of start to wrap here, what's one piece of advice? So people listening or that share this out there, and if you're watching this, please share it, right? Because there's thousands of people that have a great idea and could value from connecting with Jim. So what's that one word of encouragement or advice or counsel, right? Let's use the word counsel here, that you would give that person? Because I've been at so many parties that I've hosted or dinners or whatever, and there's always 3 or 4 people, man, I got this great idea, right? So that person that says that every 2 weeks, what's the counsel for them?
Other than taking action and stop talking about it and actually, taking the step to do something about it. Aside from that, realize that you can't make emotional business decisions. Inventing is very emotional. People come up with ideas. Often it's to solve a problem for themselves or somebody they care about.
Yeah.
You can have passion, please do. But do not make emotional decisions, because usually when you make emotional decisions about your product and, you think your baby isn't ugly type of thing, that's when you set yourself up for failure. Just make sure that you follow the steps. You seek advice from others that know what they're doing, and it's gonna be a little rough and tumble times. Don't get emotional. Just keep pushing through it, and again, you'll put yourself in the best possible position for success.
It's great. So Jim, as people listening out here, and what we'll do is, I'd love for you to, once this goes live on the social channels, put your website and everything in the comments, and I'll try to add it in the upfront. But where's the best place for people to get a hold of you and to contact you?
I'd love to say my website, which is my name. It's jimdebetta.com. But I'll tell you right now, you can't hide it anymore. I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram. Right. I have a site on Facebook called We Know Inventing, and that's my primary group. I've got thousands of members, and every day I post something educational, or slightly inspirational. And I try, I don't put pictures of, lettuce and salads and cats and all cute and everything. That's not that. My group is a place for people to get quick bits of information and for the group to share their experiences about inventing and getting educated and confidence on the process. So that, just look me up online, Jim Debetta, they'll find me.
I love it. Okay. Well, everyone that's watching this, listen, I know you probably have an idea, your family member, your brother, your sister, your partner, somebody. If you're watching this, hit comments below. Myself or Jim will respond. Jim's giving you his information. Please share this, right? Even if you don't have an idea, somebody in your network does, and they need to talk to this guy. And if you haven't yet, get the book, scalewithspeed.com. Follow me. All my handles are @Judge Graham, and we'll see you next week.